Winter Soldier's grapple hook is one of the most broken mechanics within Marvel Rivals at the moment, and this video is going to give you 5 tips on how to use Winter Soldier's grapple hook. So the first tip for Winter Soldier's grapple ability is that you can actually grapple multiple enemies at once, which is actually pretty insane. So as you can see here, if the enemies start to line up together, then you can grapple more than one, and it actually goes up to 6 enemies all in one go, which is pretty insane. But regardless of that, you can grapple more than one. So keep an eye out for when multiple enemies are stacked together, because you can actually uppercut multiple enemies at once as well, which makes it absolutely broken. The first part of this kind of goes without saying, and you want to make sure you charge your hook from behind cover, just because you don't want to be a sitting duck when you are using this. So you want to basically be behind cover, have it fully charged, and then do your whole kind of motion after that. So the next thing you want to learn is his 180 hook, and the way you do this is you hook the enemy, move forward slightly, then you want to basically hook them backwards, and that's how you get the max distance out of this. So we'll show you this again. So you hook, move forward, then you do your uppercut. You don't want to basically do this all in one go, because if you try and do it as fast as possible, it doesn't really work out all the time into the air. So like I said, you want to grapple, move forward, and then push him back towards where you're trying to go. If you do it slowly, it actually works out better than if you try and speed it up. Then obviously you can get a bit faster with it as you get better at Winter Soldier, but you want to make sure you get the maximum distance. That's the most important thing, not the speed, because you'll get the grapple anyway. So once you've hit the grapple, you're going to get the combo, so don't worry too much about that. Basically, you want to make sure you get the maximum distance out of it possible, because that's how you're actually going to steal the enemy tanks. Now, the other one is to the left or to the right. This is a little bit easier to do, because all you need to do is just snap your aim in the direction you want to go. So essentially, you grapple the enemy and you snap left or right. So as you can see here, that's for the right. And then if we do the same again here and we snap left, you can do it towards the left. And that's a lot easier, because all you need to do is just snap in left or right direction. Now, the other thing you want to practice as well is knocking the enemies into the air. So we'll do this going forward so you can see exactly what this means. So if you aim upwards, it actually shows you knocking the enemy into the sky, which basically can be extremely useful sometimes if you're basically trying to displace players, especially some of the ones that don't have any movement capabilities. Now, you can also do this towards the left and to the right as well. So as you can see here, we can knock the enemy to the left. You can basically grapple them, and as long as you aim in that direction, you can get them to the right, because you don't need to be aiming at the enemy, because they're going to be right on you anyway. And you can also do this backwards as well, which is kind of difficult to do, to be honest. I'd recommend it more towards the left or the right if you're trying to aim upwards, but it does work extremely well. Now, the final thing is a grapple combo. Now, this is something I've personally not mastered. I don't really use Winter Soldier a lot in this game, but basically the gist of it is that you're supposed to do your grapple, then deal some damage in the variation of melee or firing your primary fire, and then take the enemy in the direction you want them to go. Now, I'll speed this up for you a little bit, but in my opinion, this is only useful if you don't have your uppercut available. So, for example, what you do is you grapple them, fire a few shots, do a melee, and then take them in the direction you want to go. Now, people do this a lot quicker, but in my opinion, this is only if you're still waiting for that last 1 second or 2 seconds for your uppercut to charge up, but you've got your grapple hook, so you deal a bit of damage, and then you basically direct the enemy where you want them to go. And this kind of slower transition is not as useful, because the enemy can do so many things in between this time, that I just prefer the full 180 thing, that basically you can move the enemy in the direction you want them to go. I think that's just a way better way of doing it, and just making sure you have both of the abilities available. The next tip we're going to give you is an extremely powerful one, and why the Winter Soldier is super strong in this game, and that is cancelling ultimates. Cancelling ultimates is super important in this game, because ultimates are extremely powerful. And the Winter Soldier can basically counter 90% of them in this game, which is ridiculous with his hook ability. And people tend to save this in higher levels just to cancel ultimates with, and it's pretty strong. So we'll put the list on screen, but this includes Doctor Strange, Penny Parker, Storm, Hawkeye, Black Panther, Thor, Magic, Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, Iron Man, and Loki. So that is all the ones I'm aware of and gathered the list for through research and testing. But like I said, this is absolutely ridiculous when it comes to how many ultimates he can actually cancel, and the likelihood of you coming up against some of these enemy players is very high, because the list is huge and you can cancel all of their ultimates. The next step is grapple angles. So as you can see here, we can basically grapple enemies off of maps from certain maps here. So this is one of the maps where it's a lot of clips on TikTok and all these things that you see where you can grapple the enemies and basically knock them completely off the map. So as you can see, we've done that with 2 enemies here if you use your uppercut and your grapple correctly. So it's actually pretty insane. This is one of the best maps for it. So anywhere on the parts of the maps where there's health packs and you can knock enemies off, you can do that here because people are tending to run towards these health packs. And obviously they want to get basically kills on you or whatever, and they're going for the health pack too. So there we have it. Those are all the tips for Winter Soldier's grapple hook. If there's any that you know about, then please let us know down in the comments if there's anything we missed. But if you enjoyed this video and you learned something new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching.